Welcome to Security Site Planning. In this section you will learn the most important goal in planning sites, an overview of maximizing safety and security, and about reviewing the physical design set. Let's get started. The single most important goal in planning a site is the protection of life, property, and operations. Effective building security requires careful planning and design of the physical protection system, integrating people, procedures, and equipment, the foundation of all facility security operations. A security professional will need to make decisions in support of this purpose, and these decisions should be based on a comprehensive security assessment of the threats and hazards, so that planning and design countermeasures are appropriate and effective in the reduction of vulnerability and risk. Protecting a building, its occupants, and related assets can pose a complex problem, and there is no perfect defense to all of the potential threats a target may face. Optimizing building security with respect to performance, cost, and efficiency ultimately requires compromise and balance in the application and consideration of people, procedures, and equipment. There is a natural conflict between making a facility as convenient as possible for operation and maintaining a secure facility. If it were only up to security in designing a facility, it would look like a fortified. However, with most applications and design requirements, there needs to be cooperation between several departments. Convenience should be considered during the different phases of the design review. However, the requirement for security should never be sacrificed for convenience. In most instances, proper security controls will reduce the flow rate and ease of entry and egress in and out of a facility. These issues must be addressed in the initial planning to facilitate additional entry points or administrative requirements. Once a process has been established and there is buy-in from the employees and management, the acceptance of normal operations is now approved. When there are changes to the design after the fact and personnel are used to doing something a certain way, there will be reluctance, questions, and pushback. Humans like stability and have a need for things to be a certain way. For example, for years an employee entrance was in the rear of the building. Security recommended closing it down because of guard cost and lack of use. This entrance was converted to an emergency exit only, and when this was done and notification was given to the general employee population, even employees who did not use it when it was an entry point wanted to know why this had been done. This is because of change. It takes away from the employee norm and becomes a change in their routine. And as we all know, in every company, there is that group of employees that will always be asking why. However, if a sound security explanation is presented, it will not take long for the grumbling to end and the new routine will take its place. To maximize safety and security, a design team should implement a holistic approach to site design that integrates security and function to achieve a balance among the various design elements and objectives. Even if resources are limited, significant value can be added to a project by integrating security considerations into the more traditional design tasks in such a way that they complement the design. A company's employees are perhaps the most valuable asset of the business, and other building occupants, such as customers, contractors, vendors, and visitors, must be considered in the overall security design. From a legal and ethical standpoint, the building's owner has a duty to provide protection for all occupants of the building depending on the terms of the lease and the contract with the security company. These people fall into the category of those occupants in a building that need to be protected. At the outset of the security design process, their functions and movement patterns need to be analyzed and incorporated into the design to help determine design requirements for procedures and equipment. Another category of people that needs consideration is those who provide protection. In the people element of security operations, the integration of people as a layer of security in the form of security guards and other security personnel is another consideration. The architectural layout of the building can be designed to influence the movement of people for rapid evacuation, limited congregation, and increased visibility, and to limit the need for an abundant number of security personnel. Security is a dynamic process that, in order to be effective, must be procedural in nature. The premise is to develop procedures involving such events as evacuation, emergency response, and disaster recovery in response to fires, natural disasters, and criminal intrusions. Emergency response and business continuity plans must be developed well in advance of a critical incident and must define the plan of action or steps to be taken in a logical, orderly, and procedural manner. Policies and procedures are then developed to assist with the proper response and recovery actions in the event a crisis strikes. It should be noted that policies and procedures are guides to actions that should be taken in the event of an emergency and should not be strictly construed. No two critical incidents are the same, and it would be impossible to develop a procedure for every possible event that could occur. Procedures should be written so that they can be adaptable to any application. The security elements of people, procedures, and technology are interdependent because they rely on each other to be effective. The behaviors and needs of people dictate what procedures and equipment may be deployed. Procedures depend on people to be effective, and equipment requirements depend on the particular procedures to be followed in a critical incident. A cost-effective and comprehensive plan necessitates a balance of these three elements, taking into account their particular contribution to the mission. One application may be security personnel intensive, whereas another may be equipment intensive. There is a natural conflict between making a facility as convenient as possible for operation and maintaining a secure facility. Convenience should be considered during the different phases of the design review. However, the requirement for security should never be sacrificed for convenience. Proper security controls will reduce the flow rate and ease of ingress and egress in and out of a facility. These issues must be addressed in initial planning to facilitate additional entry points or administrative requirements. As a security professional, you need to be passionate about controlling access to the individuals who need to be inside the protected space. This needs to be done with a robust access control system. However, having a system in place also requires the employees to embrace the system and utilize it with the assurance that it will provide secured access with limited interruption. To maximize safety and security, a design team should implement an all-inclusive approach to site design that integrates security and function to achieve a balance among the various design elements and objectives. Even if resources are limited, significant value can be added to a project by integrating security considerations into the more traditional design tasks in such a way that they complement the design. The movement of people and materials throughout a facility is determined by the design of its access, delivery, and parking systems. Such systems should be designed to maximize efficiency while minimizing conflicts between entry and exiting of vehicles and pedestrians. Designers should begin with an understanding of the organization's requirements based on an analysis of how the facility will be used. The need to review the existing facility or facility plan in order to learn all of the operations, conditions, and features that affect the overall security requirements is paramount. Here, you as the security professional or a member of the security assessment team need to walk and view the areas that require protection. This is when you want to do your on-site interviews with personnel who will be working inside the facility. Do not take it for granted that non-security persons do not know or understand the conditions required for their own protection. Look at it from the standpoint of a thief. What is valuable? What would a thief want? How would a thief obtain it? Start with a list of the assets and determine what the threats are. Look at each entry point and determine the vulnerabilities and check potential penetration points and blind spots. Look at it as if your life depended on getting in, and how you would get in. After putting yourself in the shoes of a perpetrator, begin to reverse engineer and think of ways to defeat this person from entering. The idea is to walk a site physically during normal business hours and after hours. Talk with personnel during normal business hours and after hours. If there is a midnight security guard, this person will be a treasure trove of information. He or she has nothing but time on his or her hands and walks the facility without interruption, seeing things that are only clearly visible at night. Walk the site with a team and place more eyes on the project, which can only benefit you when assessing a site. This is a very important point that I want to make crystal clear. Security is a team effort. The more eyes, input, and collaboration there are, the better the final product will be. When this initial phase is completed, it is necessary to sit with all stakeholders and understand their needs and requirements. Let them explain how they would like the flow of employees, guests, and deliveries to proceed during a normal business day. This will allow you as the security professional to take the information and massage it into a security site plan that will incorporate the stakeholders' needs within a protective envelope. This will give you the opportunity to provide the stakeholders with a plan with security and safety in mind in order to progress toward the next steps in the site planning stage, and the development of policy and procedures that all parties can present to the employee base as the required steps in the protection of and accessibility to the facility. Section complete. If you need more reference material, look at the literature found below. Thank you for taking this course.